In front of everyone, Denzel Washington completely dominated Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Okay, so in front of everyone, Denzel Washington simply put Ryan Reynolds in his place. And that was awful, guys.
Yeah, he was, I call him a sociopath. I mean, I think that he wants to win no matter what. He was willing to do whatever it takes to win. He didn't care who he stepped on.
We all know Ryan now. He never misses an opportunity to make a joke, and he is charming and smart. Denzel, meanwhile, didn't seem to be feeling it. The man's answer was so icy that Ryan likely had to make sure the air conditioner was turned on. What about the insane part? This was not an isolated incident. This is real history, and believe me, it's awkward. It's not even the worst part, though, because Blake Lively is dealing with a completely different kind of Hollywood drama while Ryan is out here being humbled. Those who formerly flocked to her? Yes, they are gradually retreating. What's happening? We're dissecting everything, including Denzel versus Ryan, the reasons behind Hollywood's seeming lack of interest in Blake, and whether or not this power couple is truly losing ground.
The problem that brought from him working with you was that sometimes when he was in a scene, he would forget to act and he would sit there and be watching you acting.
Oh, is that what it was?
He would...
I just thought he was terrible.
Now, let's discuss this momentous occasion. Because Denzel Washington doesn't hold back when he chooses to make you feel humble. Regretfully, Ryan Reynolds had to learn that lesson the hard way. When Ryan and Denzel were promoting Safe House in 2012, it all happened.
What about Denzel Washington, working with such a veteran actor? Did you learn anything? What was the takeaway from working with him?
You learn so much working with a guy like him. I mean, not only is he a pleasure to work with, and just to see that somebody can be that passionate about what they do, and they've been doing it for this long, but you just see how discipline really kind of wins the day, you know, and that's what he brings.
Ryan's obsession now is working with Denzel. In full fanboy mode, I mean. In interviews, he was always raving about how doing stunts with him was a dream come true, and how he couldn't believe he was on the same screen as an icon. However, Denzel? He wasn't feeling Ryan, that's for sure. While filming a fight scene for the film, the Deadpool actor even gave Denzel a black eye.
Just whipping backwards as I was reaching forward. Pow! First black eye I've ever had in my life.
And I remember they called cut, and I looked back and, oh man, he had a shiner this big, and I just thought, wow, this is the end of me. This is the moment that Denzel Washington turns me into a liquid.
Furthermore, after you treat someone like this, how can you honestly expect them to continue to like you? Well, Denzel chose to express his genuine thoughts regarding his co-star's acting abilities when he appeared on The Jonathan Ross Show.
Have you read the things he said about you?
No.
He said working with Denzel was a sort of a lifetime dream, and he said you're just about the best actor going. And the problem that brought from him working with you was that sometimes when he was in a scene, he would forget to act and he would sit there and be watching you acting.
Oh, is that what it was?
He would...
I just thought he was terrible.
Gentlemen, the shade. The oxygen was actually audible as it left the room. Neither Keira Knightley nor Tom Hardy were ready for that kind of reaction. Denzel wasn't even kidding, though. Next question, he said as he sat there. And perhaps you could attribute it to Denzel's acerbic sense of humor if it was an isolated incident. This is a pattern, though. In another interview, the host asks Denzel about his experience working with Ryan. Instead of responding with a typical Hollywood response such as, "Oh yeah, great guy, super talented," Denzel simply pauses. He merely sits there grinning awkwardly and in quiet. Like, say anything, honey. Anything that we all know that Hollywood thrives on phony accolades. Despite the fact that they hardly remember their co-star's name, actors enjoy flattering one another. However, Denzel? He was unable to even pretend. That tells you everything. You may be thinking, oh, come on, perhaps Denzel was kidding. Indeed, perhaps. What happens, though, when Denzel develops feelings for someone? He expresses it. Take a look at how he discusses his actual industry buddies, like Samuel L. Jackson, Chadwick Boseman, and Viola Davis. When a man respects someone, he shines. However, with Ryan, there isn't that energy.
Samuel L. Jackson, where are you? Oh! Samuel L. Jackson. Nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Furthermore, Denzel is not the only famous person in Hollywood who seems to think Ryan is a little awful. since there have been suggestions from other well-known figures as well. And it doesn't look good, I assure you.
We had a really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, let's do one more take. And I was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me.
We all adore the Deadpool period, don't we? Action comedy sardonic, fast-talking, and fourth wall-breaking king. However, is Ryan Reynolds genuinely respected in Hollywood? Not in my opinion. And simply listen to these folks if you believe I'm making stuff up. Let's start with Quentin Tarantino. You can say whatever you want about him, but he is an expert in the film industry. Additionally, he didn't exactly provide any praise when questioned about Ryan's efforts. He essentially referred to his films as imaginary. I have no idea what any of those films are. I haven't seen these before. Have you? Ryan Reynolds' agent says, well, it cost $50 million, but I've never spoken to him. That he's earning so much money is fantastic for him. However, the zeitgeist does not contain those films. They nearly seem to be non-existent.
Part of the marvelization of Hollywood is, it's the, you have all these actors who have become famous playing these parts, characters, but they're not movie stars.
If that wasn't a sobering reminder of reality, let's discuss Deadpool 2. It seems that the sequel was meant to be even more successful than the original film, which was a huge smash. But Tim Miller, the original director of the movie, indeed, he essentially left the project. Only because to Ryan's excessive desire for control. It became evident that Ryan desired ownership of the team. You can operate that way as a director, fairly successfully, but I can't. To put things in perspective, Tim Miller wanted more creative authority over the Deadpool films, but it was obvious that Fox was favoring Ryan Reynolds in terms of artistic decisions, particularly given how well the first movie performed at the box office. He and Tim Miller reportedly had such a heated argument that Tim simply responded, "You know what? I'm leaving in relation to Hollywood Slam. Let's discuss Gerard Butler." This is Sparta, you know. When asked to draw a comparison between Ryan's action film, Free Guy, and one of his 2009 films, Gamer, the actor disclosed that he doesn't watch his own films. Oh no, he could have just replied, "No, that's not my thing," and moved on. However, no. He made the decision to be honest. It's not just actors either. Many well-known filmmakers are removing Ryan from their Oscar-winning films. He excels at humor, action, and occasionally romantic comedies. However, in terms of professional, high-end filmmaking, he appears to be kept at a distance by Hollywood. To be honest, Ryan is among Hollywood's most astute executives. He has made a fortune from his work. His films are profitable, and he owns a football team, Mint Mobile, and Aviation Gin. He is obviously respected by someone. However, in terms of industry credibility, let's just say that he isn't exactly someone that Hollywood needs to collaborate with. You are not prepared for what is happening with Blake, though, if you believe that Ryan is the only member of his family coping with Hollywood drama.
If you behave badly, if you own up to that and own it and say, you know, I had a terrible day, I'm so sorry. And maybe she will learn something from that and not behave like that again. Of course, that would be very welcoming, but I don't think it will happen though.
Blake Lively was once that vivacious girl from Hollywood. But lately, the situation does not appear promising, and let's dissect it if you haven't noticed. First, there was the drama of Gossip Girl. Blake is now well known to us as Serena van der Woodsen, who is effortlessly wealthy, gorgeous, and constantly involved in some absurd Upper East Side scandal. However, what do many people not know? In real life, she and her co-star Leighton Meir, also known as Blair Waldorf, weren't exactly great friends.
Make you happy? At least I won't have to watch the next episode of The Serena Show.
You know, I was coming here to invite you to hang out with us.
Oh, how generous, Serena! I should feel so blessed that you would include me in your little group.
For example, these two were on-screen best friends, but what about off-screen? Crickets, indeed. They didn't talk much, and according to some stories, Leighton didn't exactly fit in with Blake's way of life. Joshua Safran, the executive producer of Gossip Girl, stated that Blake and Leighton are complete opposites as the program celebrated its 10th anniversary in 2017. Their co-stars felt compelled to take sides when it was later revealed that Blake and Leighton were avoiding one another on work. Thus, it appears that Blake and Leighton harbored animosity towards one another. And now, Leighton is contentedly married, releasing music and maintaining her coolness under the radar, while Blake, she is now working on a film about depressed flowers. No, really, the making of her next movie is about a failed flower business and a love triangle. And although it might be fantastic, how does it stack up against her past selections? It's a somewhat arbitrary selection. Then there is the debate surrounding Kate Middleton. Kate became embroiled in a Photoshop controversy last year after sharing a family photo in which, to put it mildly, a few elements did not appear to be genuine. Celebrities largely kept silent as conspiracy ideas went viral on the internet. Blake, though, nope. She felt that this was the ideal opportunity to make jokes about her brand. Read the headlines, girl. Blake's actions were adding to the already chaotic state of the internet. Naturally, it backfired badly, and she discreetly removed the post. Speaking about fashion, you may be asking yourself, she's still a fashion icon? Well, sort of. Blake used to rule the red carpet, but it seems like other celebrities are receiving far more attention these days. Take the Bulgari event, for example. When Zendaya and Anne Hathaway dined that evening, they were the main attraction. Blake was simply there.
When's the party?
Saturday. And you're kind of not invited.
Okay, so the film It Ends With Us was meant to be the one that restored Blake Lively's fame. This was her big moment, but rather? Yes, it's sending negative energy. What about the fans? They're not happy. I see it. Let's start by discussing the casting. Fans erupted when it was revealed that Blake will be portraying Lily Bloom. Not in a positive way, either. They were perplexed. Not to disparage Blake, but she is in her mid-30s, yet she is being presented as a 20-something recent college graduate? It didn't make sense, particularly considering how many actresses were more age-appropriate for the part. However, when behind-the-scenes pictures started to surface, the actual mayhem began. The wig in orange. God, oh God, that wig is orange. It literally trended on Twitter because it was so awful. She appeared to be cosplaying a cheap Wendy's mascot, according to the people who were making fun of it. Even though awful wigs aren't particularly new in Hollywood, this was extremely distracting. But just when you believed that things couldn't be any more awkward, Brandon Sklenar, her co-star, was questioned about collaborating with her. And all of you, it hurt how he disregarded this query. He only needed to say something kind, even if it was a lie. However, instead, this is what he just stated.
Trying to play it really cool the whole time.
Did you play it cool or did you?
Oh, I tried.
All I want is for folks to keep the focus on that. This was one of those instances where the shame was visible through the screen. For example, what happened on set that caused him to refrain from praising her in any way? Because Hollywood doesn't comment? That pretty much says it all. Speaking of issues occurring behind the scenes, let's discuss the film's director, Justin Baldoni. Or even ex-director? Yes. The man who played Ryle in the movie and served as both its director and star? He abruptly resigned from directing the follow-up. And pay attention. Unless there is something going on behind the scenes, directors don't just quit. Imagine, for example, working on this massive project, receiving all this attention, and then deciding all of a sudden that you're fine. That's not typical. People are beginning to question whether this whole situation is doomed. Because it's clear that things are not going in the correct way after looking at all of the litigation that both sides have filed.
I just want people to remember why we made the movie in the first place and what it stands for, and just keeping the focus on that.
Are Blake and Ryan's days as Hollywood's power couple coming to an end in light of all this criticism? Because it appears to be very severe from where we are standing, let's just say that Blake and Ryan's A-list radiance is beginning to wane. I'm not saying that Hollywood is canceling them, and not gradually either. Rather, it seems as though those in the industry are intentionally pulling away from one another. Ryan's standing as a Hollywood darling appears to have diminished somewhat. Indeed, Deadpool is really popular, but what else? Co-stars and directors don't appear overly excited to collaborate with him. Denzel Washington hardly gave him a nod. The director Quentin Tarantino referred to his films as forgettable. What about Gerard Butler? In essence, he scoffed at the notion of a film based on him. Blake comes next, battling to maintain her previous standing. The drama of the Gossip Girl? The unsuccessful attempts to integrate oneself into popular pop culture events? The backlash against It Ends With Us? It doesn't look good. And when your own co-star would like to compliment you without saying anything. Yes, that is a serious warning sign. Are Blake and Ryan genuinely becoming less famous in Hollywood? Because it appears like the industry is blacklisting them from the outside. However, what are your thoughts? Did Denzel's roast seem a bit too real? Or was it just lighthearted banter? And is Blake and Ryan truly over in Hollywood? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to watch our other videos for more celebrity bombshells in which we reveal some of the most embarrassing secrets in Hollywood.
I am more than willing to take every single text message that exists out there, lay them out, put them on a website for the world to see, have them see the truth and determine the truth for themselves.